My name's Tansy Barton. I'm a librarian in the Modern Collections team here at Senate House Library at the University of London. The book we have here is Of Ghosts and Spirits Walking by Night by Ludwig Lavater. Lavater was a Swiss Calvinist theologian. Lavater was working on explaining the experience of hearing ghosts, of seeing ghosts, seeing spirits, and books such as this, and there were many of them produced at the time, were an attempt to explain why these things were happening and how it fits into the understanding of a Christian universe. This book was first published in German in 1569 and very quickly translated into a lot of modern languages, including this first edition in English from 1572. So this book is part of a larger collection we have here at the library, the Harry Price Library of Magical Literature. Harry Price was probably most active in the 1920s and 1930s in psychical research, which involved investigations into various mediums and other phenomena which appeared to be supernatural in origin. He was very good at promoting his investigation, his causes and his interests, which I think probably meant that he had a very big presence in the popular imagination, which has stuck around. This pamphlet was produced by Harry Price in 1922, and it's the report of his first major investigation in the world of psychical research, which was the exposure of the spirit photographer William Hope. Photography was still a fairly modern technology, a fairly new technology that most people wouldn't understand the processes of. So the idea that a spirit could appear in a photograph was seen by many, particularly on the spiritual side, as material evidence of survival after death. And although there were also lots of people who were very well aware of how spirit photographs could be faked, a lot of people did take them as genuine, and a lot of people did believe in it. When Price had his sitting with Hope, he took along his own photographic plates, and he had marked the plates with a stamp which would come out when the plates were developed, and this would tell him whether Hope had tampered with the plates, swapped the plates out for his own ones. What the psychical researchers believed was the exposure of Hope was very controversial in the world of spiritualism. A lot of spiritualists immediately came to Hope's defence, including Arthur Conan Doyle, who published the same year his own account of evidence of genuine spirit photography. But it was the case that made Price's name effectively in psychical research. He was always interested as well in finding genuine phenomena, which is perhaps why he was so taken with some of the cases he was involved in the latter part of his career. He's best known perhaps for his investigation of Borley Rectory, the haunting of Borley Rectory, which has perhaps given birth to the whole ghost investigation industry which exists today. Each observer should provide himself with the following articles, in addition to night clothes, etc. Note block, pencils, good watch with second hand, candle and matches, pocket electric torch, brandy flask, sandwiches, etc. If he possesses a camera, this can be used. Rubber or felt-soled shoes should be worn. This is what's known as the Blue Book, which is a list of instructions for observers at Borley Rectory during Price's investigation in 1937. Price was recruiting people via the Times, so these weren't experts, they weren't people who were necessarily involved in psychical research. At the time it was produced, it was actually quite novel. No one had produced a list of instructions for how to investigate a haunted house. So I think probably this has set up a lot of the ideas of what a haunting is and how it should be investigated. As well as the Harry Price Library, we also have several other archive collections related to people involved in psychical research, and one of those is the papers of Eric Dingwall. This is Eric Dingwall's kit of essential equipment for investigating hauntings and other phenomena. It includes notebooks, pencils, brushes, luminous pins, wire, string, scales, a compass, luminous cards, so perhaps we're attaching to things to see if something's moving in the dark, sealing wax. Perhaps if you're attaching things to wires or strings, you could put a seal on them to see if it's been tampered with. Everything that you would need to take on an alleged haunting investigation. On top of the box is a note in Dingwall's hand which says, "This is E.G. Dingwall's box of necessities for haunting and poltergeist investigations," an idea later borrowed by Harry Price, who pretended it was his idea. See his Confessions of a Ghost Hunter, London 1936. In 1936, the collection was given to the University of London, named the Harry Price Library of Magical Literature. It is one of the most interesting and intriguing collections to work with. It's so varied and there is so many interesting records of things. I'm not sure you would ever find an answer to whether survival after death exists, whether ghosts exist, whether people can communicate with the other side in the collection. But it continues to intrigue people because people continue to experience things that they can't explain.